Welcome to the Disambiguation podcast, where each week we try to remove some of the confusion around AI and business automation by talking to experts across a broad spectrum of business use cases and, of course, the underlying technology. I'm your host, Michael Fauscette. If you're new to the show, we release a new episode every Friday, and it's on all the major podcast platforms that you'd expect: Apple, Google, etc. It's also released on YouTube as a video, and then we post a transcript on the Area and Research blog a couple of days after the show drops. Today, I'm really excited to talk about marketing and the use of AI in marketing, and that's one of the areas that is seeing a lot of interest and disruption from generative AI and all the other tools. In fact, in the survey that we just did on AI adoption, we saw among the top use cases that content creation was in the top 6 use cases, and over 40% of the respondents said that they were already using generative AI for content creation. So a lot of activity there. So again, I'm excited today to bring on Nicole Leffer. She's a senior marketing executive with 18 years of experience leading and growing innovative B2B and B2C marketing teams, including almost 2 years of hands-on experience in leveraging AI and natural language processing in B2B marketing. She's an entrepreneurial self-starter, has a passion for growing startups and increasing revenue and profit. We all have a passion for that, I think. So anyway, welcome, Nicole. Great for you to join me today.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, really appreciate it. And I'm excited to learn a good bit more about AI and marketing. So can we start by just giving us a little bit of background on how you got, I know you're a senior marketer, you've done, marketing for many years in your career, but how did you get into the AI piece of it? How did that come about?
So I was working as the head of marketing for a B2B SaaS company and needed a tool to help us be more efficient with our writing and increase the quality of the writing, just to streamline those processes. And this was in August of 2021. Went out and looked. I'd heard vaguely just in the world there was this AI stuff, and found a couple of AI tools for our team to use, brought them on board, and ended up falling madly in love with these tools. I probably drove everybody at the company crazy, because whether they were on the marketing team or not, I was telling them everything we were doing with AI all the time. Yes. But I brought them on. Both myself and my team were using them pretty much every day. I was definitely using them every day. I think my team was using them pretty much every day, and saw this dramatic improvement in the marketing that we were doing with these tools brought into our workflows. Was trying to figure out every single way we could to use them. Was at that company for a year using the AI the entire time on that marketing team. Went separate ways and was really excited about this technology. So while I decided what I was going to do next, I dug really deeply into, what are these other tools? And, around that time, like the image generation stuff was really starting to come around, and started learning how to use Dolly and Midjourney and some of those tools. And then ChatGPT came out. And because I was very absorbed in this AI world, I was like, wait, I heard about this, within the day it came out. Within a couple of days, I signed up, got on there, and immediately was like, oh, this is wildly awesome and game-changing. And, I'd had a lot more experience with this kind of stuff than most people when they first saw ChatGPT. So maybe I wasn't quite as shocked. But I knew immediately that this made it so much more accessible and so much easier to use and really understand. And dug in, learned everything I could about ChatGPT, initially by having it, forget marketing for a second, I was having it write me dinner recipes. You'll give it a list of ingredients for dinner, have it write me a recipe for dinner. I had it write a poem about my 97-year-old grandmother, which was really cool to give my 97-year-old grandmother an AI generated poem. I was playing with it for fun stuff, and that made me see the real potential for marketing. Started playing with it for that and sharing it with CMOs that I know and a CMO community I'm in. And suddenly they Other people started getting excited about ChatGPT, a few months later, and they came back and they're like, "Hey, Nicole, what was that thing we've all been ignoring you talking about? Can you tell our team how to do what you're talking about?" And so I just ended up starting to come in and work with marketing teams and then larger companies as well to help them learn how to do the AI stuff. So it's kind of been my journey, and I'm in it all day, every day, and working with people who are integrating it in their businesses all day, every day.
No, I mean, it's such an exciting time, and I think, all across the board, I'm having conversations about what you could do and can you do, and I'm with you. I signed up for ChatGPT and Claude and Bard and like all the names that you can go with, and have been using them quite a bit. And it's an exciting time. So I'm curious though, in the marketing world specifically, like, how does this change your marketing strategy? Where are you incorporating AI into your normal marketing workflow, and what does that do for the company?
Everywhere. So for me personally, absolutely everywhere. I use it. I don't know what I don't use it for. It's a harder question to say, where didn't you incorporate AI than where did you? It doesn't answer my emails for me. Like, it doesn't actually like read and answer my like general emails. But I am using it for all of my social content, all my content marketing. I am using it for all of my landing page creation and writing, image generation in all of my PowerPoints, writing PowerPoint slides, writing, I mean, if you name it, like, and then like, forget the content creation, I'm using it for strategy. I use it to help me set up spreadsheets to track, work, social, client time. That's not directly marketing, but project management, all of it. Like, there's very little that I do not use AI for at this point.
Yeah, that's exciting. So how does it save the marketing team? What does it do for your marketing team? What can you automate with it, and how does it make their day? What's a day in the life of an AI enabled marketer look like?
Yeah, so I think there's a huge mindset shift. First off, I do want to be very clear with people. I do not recommend truly automating your AI. We are not at that point yet. People are doing it. Like, I have seen terrifying posts on LinkedIn and stuff on Twitter of people talking about straight up automating. Like, I just write a sentence, it goes to Zapier, connects all these tools and posts, and then you get stuff that is completely made up, and it is a really risky thing to do. So please don't actually automate your AI like yet. It may get there eventually, but this week, not a good idea. I mean, certain parts you can automate, but human needs to review anything that you do. But what I'm really seeing people using it for is to dramatically increase their efficiency while simultaneously increasing the quality of their outputs. So doing this through using ChatGPT or other AI tools, but largely ChatGPT is what so many people are using, as a thought partner and helping to collaborate, almost like having another person working on the project with you who is exceptionally fast at what they do. So using it for everything from writing outlines to actually generating the copy to building out marketing strategies, all of the thinking, just having a thinking partner. A lot of my clients that get deep into it get so excited about the fact that they realize that they have somebody they can bounce ideas off of 24/7 and they don't have to wait for a response. Like, I had an idea, especially like CMOs love this. Like, it's 2 a.m. I woke up, I had an idea, I want feedback. I'm not bothering my team. We don't have time tomorrow, so I'm just going to go tell ChatGPT and start like working through this idea with a thought partner, and they're there. So
that's interesting, actually. And I mean, I've been using it a fair bit for research, because of it certainly does speed that up. And I can sort of see it in a marketing context as almost like a force multiplier, right? It helps you do a lot more with the team that you have, because you've got this kind of partner as you're working through these different activities.
I mean, I am in my own business, I'm a team of one, and I cannot fathom how I could have done this without a team of 5. What I do now, how I could have done as much as I do without a team of 5 before AI. It's like that much of a force multiplier.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. I mean, if that level of assistance and speeding up your processes, I think is amazing. One of the areas in marketing, well, I mean, across sales, marketing, the business in general, that I've focused on for a while is around customer journey and the idea that customer behaviors changed a lot, but we aren't really adapting to that model because certainly the customers don't just come to your site and read your copy and think you're great and tell you and buy from you, anymore, right? They go wherever they want to do their own research. So I'm
Yeah.
curious, how can how could you see AI play in this realm of, journeys and interactive journeys, perhaps dynamic journeys? I mean, what's happening around AI and the customer there?
Well, it's really wild because you can really like right into your prompting that I'm talking to this persona at this stage of their journey. This is
Mm,
what decisions they're trying to make at this point, and I need to create this kind of content that really is relevant to
mm,
them, and even give the kind of thought leadership and the kind of ideas that maybe your sales team is using, or your marketing, you want to be giving them at that point in the journey, and really very quickly create highly customized content, whether that is emails that get to them at the
mm,
exact right time, or like just mixing into your social media mix, your blog mix,
mm.
whatever it is. It's so easy to create that like content for different people at different times in their journey. And that's like a great use, even if you already have the
Mm,
content, to adapt it for where somebody is in
right.
their journey so that you're really highly
Yeah, I
personalizing
mean,
it.
one of the things that I've seen for years, I've done, buyer behavior studies, and it always comes up really high. That context and relevance is really what matters when you're interacting with a prospect or a customer. So, is that something that you can help with this? I mean, it sounds like you're examining behavior, and then it can help you react to that in nearly real time. I mean, is that the sort of thing that you're seeing now?
I mean, I think it's just that it speeds up the process so dramatically that you can create content so much faster, right? Like it used
Mm,
to take you an hour to get a high quality thought leadership LinkedIn post done, or 2 hours or 3 hours, like depending on the person, the
mm,
company, all of that. And now you can do it in 15 minutes. Well, you
mm,
can respond a lot faster to a lot more people, do a lot more targeted marketing when you don't
mm.
have the amount of time. So for like the real time, again, you still need a human in the loop, right? Like you can't just do this stuff and like set it for, I mean, it's a really bad idea. So it's not like you can just say, like, I want you to analyze all my customers, do all of this, make me 12 million pieces, and just send them
Hmm.
out. And now everybody has custom tailored content to where they are. Unless it's really just like a mail merge kind of a thing. Like
Right.
that's a really bad idea. If you're truly customizing it, because like suddenly you're gonna get some really random stuff in people's email inboxes
Mm,
or whatever it is.
mm,
But like what you can do is like a salesperson says, I have a customer and they're asking me XYZ questions and they want to know if we have any kind of content that is a proof point
mm,
that we know about this. And like obviously we know about it, but we don't have any content of that. I'm like, okay, well just tell me what we know about it. Give me the
mm,
information. Tell me in a voice memo. Just send me a voice memo explaining the ideas around it. Drop
mm,
the transcript of that voice memo into Chat GPT, and now post a blog post about it. And now you can send, actually, we were just about to we were just about to go live with
mm,
a blog on this topic. And you could support in, maybe it's not literally
mm,
time, but if you got off a sales call and 45 minutes or an hour later, they're sending you a blog post on the topic you were curious about, they at least knew enough to write on that topic. Now,
right.
you notice I did not say you asked ChatGPT to research it, come up with the idea, like create that post. I said you give it the ideas
Right.
and turn it into that.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, and I I know I've played around with it around content creation a bit too, and most of the stuff I do tends to be research heavy, so it's a little deeper than maybe some of the top of funnel
Mhm.
content. So that really does require a fair bit of interaction. Like I wouldn't just have it write a blog post. I might have it write a paragraph on X, and then yeah. So one of the one of the areas that that is a concern in marketing because you are doing heavy personalization. is this idea around ethical and or privacy. So
Mhm.
how are you how do you help marketing teams really understand the risk there and how to mitigate those risks as they work through, their new workflow?
Yeah. So it's really important to think about like the risks around the AI as you are incorporating it. So there's on the privacy side, you've got to think about like you don't put client details into these tools. You don't put the names. Like personalization no longer means dropping a name in. Right? You don't need to put the name of the company. You can add that. That's what the human does after.
Mm,
You don't need to tell ChatGPT any of that. You say, I want to write an email to a VP of HR at a company with 125 employees that is around this size of revenue. These are their pain points. These are their concerns.
mm,
Write me this, this is the information about our company and what we do. Write me the email that's going to go to that persona with those concerns, and you put in the name. You're not like, I saw on your LinkedIn that you posted XYZ. Like, that's not good use of personalization. Like that for AI. I'm not saying like you could drop that in yourself at the end. That's the little bit that the human does. But you
sure.
definitely do not want to be ever giving these tools personal information about your clients. That is a really good way to get yourself into some hot water.
Yeah, that
Um,
makes sense. That makes sense. It's almost like being aware, right? I mean, it's just
yeah.
having the level of awareness there too. Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's you also, you've got to talk to I got to talk to marketing teams about the risks of AI with other areas too, like hallucination. And like
Mm,
when you say you do research with it, like how are you mitigating the risks of hallucination and fact checking and all of that? Because you have to make sure if you're researching with AI, you're fact checking everything if it's that kind of
mhm.
research. There's a different kind of research, which is like, how do I do this on my computer? Give me a process for this. Like, what are some strategies and stuff?
Right,
That kind of
right.
research, you don't necessarily have to fact check.
Yeah,
Like, you just see when you
yeah.
use it. But making sure teams understand the risks with
Mm,
hallucinations, making things up is the other piece. It's not
yeah.
just like, what is the data security risk?
Yeah, one of the things that I've seen that I think it does really well is provide you with summaries of a larger amount of information. Like you can upload, like Claude, for example, you can upload attachments and
But
it'll summarize them for you. That's been really useful for me.
it's so useful, but even with that, before you go, use that summary to create something that is public facing that you're
Oh yeah.
staking like any reputation or company on. Fact check what's in it because
Yeah.
it can hallucinate even in the summary. I've seen it happen. They all do it. So you
Yep.
definitely need to be aware. And so that's the kind of stuff I'm educating marketers on. When I go in and work with teams, that you don't just assume because it comes out of the tool, it's true. And there are prompting strategies to help limit that. And they do work well, but they're still not
Mm,
perfect. And every now and then you'll get this random hallucination in there and it'll sound factual. So I love it for summarizing, bullet pointing stuff too.
mhm.
But then before I actually would publish anything off of what it says or do anything major with it, I'm still going to go like, let me find the point in the text. Do a search of the
Yeah.
text and be like, I just want to see what it got this
Yeah.
from. Like, where did this come from? Because you do want to be careful still on the
Yeah,
hallucination.
I mean, I think this comes back to your statement of, it's intentional, right? You have to be conscious of what's going on and be aware that it can hallucinate, that you can, I did a survey and published a study this week on AI adoption, and I was really surprised, um, in the concerns category, hallucinations were actually the least ranked among those kinds of concerns that they had, and accuracy was very high on the list of things they really were concerned about,
Which is the same thing.
which is the same thing, I know. and
They
it's
don't know
interesting.
what hallucinations are.
Well, that
People only know it's not
yeah,
accurate. Like they
that's
don't know
actually, yeah,
facts.
that's why I said it, because I thought, well,
Yeah.
I ask it both ways on purpose because I
Yeah.
wanted to see, because I think that is a problem right now, the whole idea around hallucination. What does that really mean? And yeah, yeah.
On the other hand, the fact that these tools have those limitations is actually a good thing. And that's going to be controversial. I've said that. But in the space of like, this protects jobs. right? Like this actually, we're not used to this world. And if these tools just came out of the gate perfect, and you don't need a human to fact check it, and you don't need a human to pilot it, and it just comes out of the gate perfect, you're going to have a huge amount of job loss very quickly. And I actually think for the sake of like our society, it's actually probably, which most people are like, the hallucinations are such a huge issue with disinformation. And I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying there's also the benefit of the fact that it makes things up, protects your job. Because you are still necessary within this process to be the one that makes sure that it is correct and that there is true expertise to what it's saying.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting when I look at the way you can apply AI to just in general in business. It's sort of these two big use cases, right? You could either have it automate certain things that you don't want humans to do anymore because it's not a good use of time, so you aren't really getting value there, or you could use it to help people do more, and I think that's one of the biggest use cases you described here in the marketing world, is that it's an assistant that makes you better, makes you produce more. Yeah, that's interesting. So can you give me and obviously I know, they're clients, so you can't necessarily talk in detail about a client, but in general, could you give me an example of a project that you've done that applied AI and really had good outcomes? And then I'm kind of curious to tie that into and how did they measure that? How did they know they actually got what they wanted out of it?
So with my teams that I work with, I'm training them. I'm not actually working on their projects. So I can't take credit for like I can teach them how to do stuff, but I'm not running their projects.
Sure.
I can share an example of something I've recently done in the marketing sphere
That'd be great,
would apply to any marketing team.
Sure.
So I wanted to create a lead magnet that was for generating leads, a document. I posted on social media. First off, ChatGPT helped me write my LinkedIn post about this, but I posted talking about AI tells. It signs that AI is the one that wrote this content and some of the things that I'd seen. And I said, I would love to hear what you see as very clear tells of AI, because I love, there's obviously lots of people are noticing different things, different patterns that stand out to them. And if I get enough comments, I'm going to create a document of this. So I posted this on LinkedIn. I posted it in multiple Slack communities I'm in. I did a TikTok about it. And I got a ton of content, like a ton of ideas. Some of them were good, some of them were not. Like, it was, I didn't agree with some of them. I agreed with a lot of it. And I was like, oh, I forgot that. So I took all of it, copied and pasted all of it into a Word document. I copied and pasted the comments from each of these places. The longest and most time consuming thing of everything I did was removing the names, because I wasn't going to put anybody's names in. And I took that, uploaded it into Code Interpreter, and asked it to categorize, which Code Interpreter is in ChatGPT paid accounts for anybody that doesn't know.
Right.
So I uploaded this document and asked ChatGPT to categorize all of this, explained what these comments were, categorize it, organize it, show me where the same thing repeated multiple times. We went through a process to essentially get a Word document that ChatGPT made for me, actually created for me. It had specific words, specific phrases, and grammatical and writing patterns that are indicators of AI writing versus human writing. Not guaranteed that it's AI writing versus human writing, but patterns you see a lot in AI. And I took that. It took 15 minutes. When I say, it sounds like it probably took 15 minutes to strip the names and 15 more minutes to get an exported Word document that had all of this done. Yeah. And then I just applied my formatting myself quickly, put it in columns, dropped my logo in there. And I gave it back to ChatGPT and was like, what should we title this? Like, what's a great name? Here's what we're trying to get across. It gave me a great headline. It came up with Spot the Bot, which I thought was super cute. Made this. Then I gave it back to ChatGPT in Code Interpreter still and said, we're going to create the landing page copy for this lead magnet. And here's an example of a past lead magnet's landing page copy that performed well. Write me the copy. And it gave me something that was 80% of the way there. I picked and chose. I did some regenerations, picked and choose, put it on my website. Now we're going to write the email that goes out. I actually had myself, just because of it was fast and easy, I was sending out another email that had included this document at that point. So I gave it the copy from the other email I had sent for context. And so I just kind of shift it. You have the landing page, you have the copy from the email that I sent that was, a few sentences about what this is, and turn this into the email delivering the lead magnet. It wrote me that copy, put it into HubSpot. Now write me the LinkedIn post about this. Wrote me the LinkedIn post about it. All of this I did. So it was maybe 15 to 20 minutes of, so it was 30 minutes with my removing the names. It was on that end to get the document done, 10 minutes to format it. So we're at 40 minutes and maybe an hour and a half to do the landing page and email, inclusive of getting it on the website, QA testing, all of that, testing the links, getting the form created on HubSpot, all of it. So I would say 2.5 hours from concept to execution, to live being posted on LinkedIn.
Yeah. So get to put that into right perspective though. Tell me what that would have taken you if you didn't have any of those tools.
I mean, that would have been a 2-day project. I don't know. It's so hard to remember exactly. But if you think about, I need to manually categorize all of this, look through it, copy and paste. Am I repeating things, alphabetizing, all of that? Just that would have been 2.5 hours to get. It probably would have been 3 hours, 4 hours just to get the document made. And then, how long does it take to write copy for a landing page and make it good? And the email copy, it probably would have been 2 solid work days of doing. And now the LinkedIn post, the TikTok GPT didn't write, but it did all of it. And it's a much quicker process. And I am getting signups, so results wise.
Right.
It's driving a lot of signups. And I also had an asset that I sent to my existing list and they loved it, right? People are really excited about it. And it was super relevant because I also had, what I didn't explain is I had ChatGPT explain how do you leverage this document to write your custom instructions in ChatGPT. That was part of the context of why I was making this. So it was a highly, highly valuable resource. This was not a resource that was just some random dribble. It had really good thought quality, thought leadership quality to it too. So yeah, I would say 2 days in the old world.
That's even if it's a day, that's a lot, but 2 days, down to what, 2.5 or so hours. That's amazing.
In-house, that would have taken you. No, I'm saying in-house in a company, that would have been 3 weeks to go live.
Well, you're right, because it wouldn't be the same person, and you would be passing that around across the team, and that's fair.
Lots of people would have been talking about what should we include, what should we not. It becomes a different beast when you get in-house in a company. But even so, you probably would have added to that 2.5 hours, but it wouldn't have been 3 weeks anymore.
Yeah. So it sounds like from the tools that you described in that project, most of that is generative AI based. So a GPT, large language model /
that's the vast majority of what I'm using is generative AI.
Is there anything else that marketers should know, as far as other tools or solutions that they could apply to this beyond the generative AI, or is that really where the focus is right now?
For me, that's where the major focus is. But where I the tools that I personally use and talk a lot about are, of course, ChatGPT and the Plus accounts and all the bells and whistles that go with that. And Bing and Edge like are great. Claude is great as a supplement to it. But then I'm also Whisper is an incredible tool for transcription. And I don't know if you would really classify Whisper as generative AI because it's AI, but I don't know if I would classify it as generative because it's not inventing something. It's just translating your speech into text that's highly accurate. So I use that all the time. I am using Midjourney all the time. I've started, which is generative AI, but for images. I use Runway a little bit. I'm just getting into that, which is generative AI for video. And there is a tool called AnyWord that, disclaimer, technically I'm an affiliate for them. But that is not why I talk about them. That is a tool that I used for a very long time personally and paid for. And they do predictive performance scores so that they have the generative element to it. But why I love it is because it can predict how your copy is going to perform. That's probably outside the realm of being considered generative, like that part of their tool.
And what was the tool's name again? That one I haven't tried.
Called AnyWord.
AnyWord. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I have to give that one a try then because I haven't run across that one yet. That's interesting.
I'll send you a link.
Well, it's good. And have you seen? I know Adobe just launched the beta of an image tool, Firefly. Have you seen that at all?
I love Firefly. That's another one. I'm using Firefly within the Photoshop beta. So anybody with a Photoshop account can download Photoshop beta on their computer and play with and use Firefly within that beta. It is awesome. I use it every day, but you can't really use it's technically not licensed for commercial use until it goes into the live version. So it's just like people need to be aware of that. I think it's a great tool to start building your skills on because it's going to be available live very soon. I think. I
hope so. I was actually just talking to some of the Adobe folks the other day about it because I as a photographer too, of course, I love the idea of it. And the other thing that I really like that they said, and I think is really important, is the training data for Firefly is all content that Adobe already has all the rights to. So you're not worried about, and I mean, of course it's Adobe, so they certainly don't want to, cannibalize any creatives since that is their big audience.
And
but
I really love the Adobe beta for like really using it to like clean up images and that kind of stuff, just extend a background, not like generate something completely from scratch. But I was using it as like, I had a picture of a computer, like I have a demo that I was just recording, I got to post it on TikTok, but like, it's got like, extra things in the picture. And I was like, I just want to take them out. And you just, it used to be hours and hours and hours to do that in Photoshop. And now it's like you circle it and just say, remove the USB port from sitting on top of my computer, remove the glare on the kitchen counter, and it just vanishes into thin air.
I mean, that's amazing. And again, I'm as a photographer and having used, Photoshop and other editing tools for so long, even I've used them that long, it's still hard. Like it's just never easy to go in and, let's make this look right. And so, I think that's really amazing.
Right.
So just we're getting close to the time. So but I do want to, one of the things that I'm really curious about from you is like, what advice would you give a CMO right now if they're thinking about incorporating AI into their marketing processes? What's the advice?
Do it. Because if you're not, you are putting your company at a severe disadvantage. At the end of the day, what I am seeing is that there is this kind of happening. There are the companies going all in on this and they are skyrocketing their results. They're skyrocketing their efficiency. Their entire businesses are changing in a very positive way because they are all in on this technology. And then on the opposite side, you have these companies that are not touching it at all. And they're like, we're going to wait. This is scary. We're worried about the legal concerns. We're worried about the security. And that is not just say, do not be aware of the legal concerns and do not be aware of the security. You need to talk and have policies around all of that stuff. But if you're letting fear or uncertainty or my team's not skilled be the thing that says we're not going to do this at all, your competitors are going to go up and you're going to stay flat or maybe like this. And can you see that? But it's really creating a very rapid competitive gap. And it's going to continue to widen, and it's going to widen quickly because the tech is getting better, like literally on a daily basis. We've never seen anything improve at this rate.
No, it is amazing. And the other thing that I noticed, and I'm not sure what you've seen with the implementation of this, but for me, it almost feels like when you first try to learn how to search, you had to learn how to use Google. It wasn't just intuitive to get the best answers. I mean, you could get some answer with any sort of a query, I guess, and the prompt is the same issue with the generative AI. If you don't know how, you have a hard time getting what it is you want, right?
Really, now is such a good time to learn it because, for example, when I first logged into ChatGPT, it was an interface where it was like, put in your prompt, right? It was like, that was it. That was all there was to learn is put in your prompt and you got a response. Now they have added all these other features, which is awesome. I love it. But you've now got multiple features to learn, multiple settings. You got to know what custom instructions are. What's the share button? What's the edit button? Thumbs up, what are all of these different things? I have no idea. I mean, I do. But you log in, what am I supposed to do with this? You know what? That has been in 9 months, that it has gone, it has dramatically changed how much you need to learn. It's still easy and attainable to learn it. But if you wait another year to log into this tool that every single company is going to expect you to use, like they expect you to use a Google search, if you wait to do that, you're now going to have another 30 features you have to learn the first time you log in. So now you're going to have to learn all of these pieces at once versus you do it now. You learn one piece at a time. You get caught up, not going to be that hard. And now you get to learn one piece at a time as it comes out. And all of these other companies that jump on in a year from now, they're going to be from scratch going, how the heck do you do this? And you're going to understand everything inside out. And you're going to be at such a long-term advantage. So every marketer, every professional period, whether your company is doing it or not, should be in learning these tools because otherwise you're getting left behind.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds like a great, advice to leave this on. I think, it's just do it, sort of a slogan, I guess, maybe. And I think that I've seen that too. The experience is the most important thing as you're kind of learning and going forward with this and being a part of it as it grows up versus coming in later has to really jumpstart your abilities, I would think. Yeah,
absolutely.
So that's all the time we have. I really appreciate you joining me, Nicole. It's been a really fun conversation, learned a lot. And, but before I let you go, the one thing that I like to ask guests when we're concluding the episode is, can you recommend somebody, a thought leader, author, some mentor that's influenced your career? And that could be ChatGPT, I guess, too, if you want. But
I'm gonna give somebody their props. I'm real human. I mean, everybody knows I'm obsessed with ChatGPT. If you are looking for a thought leader in the AI space who understands this tech very, very well, Rachel Woods from the AI Exchange is one of by far my favorite people to listen to, hear what she has to say, get her guidance. She creates incredible resources. I love Rachel, great human being too. So I recommend Rachel Woods, the AI Exchange. She's a great person to be following and learning from.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And thanks for joining us today. And thank you all for joining us this week. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And for more on AI, you can check out the Arian Research Report on AI adoption that we just published on the site, arianresearch.com this week. It's a free download, so free research is a good thing. Check it out. And join us next week. We're going to have a fun discussion about the use of AI in the Salesforce ISV ecosystem. So I'm Michael Fauscette, and this is Disambiguation Podcast.